It was the kind of morning that bit straight through your bones. Snow lay thick over the valley, each flake catching the pale light of a sun too weak to warm anything it touched. The wooden fences groaned under the weight of frost, and a long, slow plume of smoke curled from the chimney of the small cabin that sat alone against the endless white. Samuel Granger, one of the wealthiest ranchers in Wyoming, reined in his horse at the fence that marked the edge of his newly purchased land. He had come out to survey it, to see what he had paid for. He wasn't expecting the soft sound of children's voices. Two little girls stood there, identical in every way. The same pale braids, dusted with snow, the same wide blue eyes that reflected the gray sky, the same tattered cream-colored dresses that didn't look near warm enough for the weather. They looked like ghosts out of a memory he had long buried. "Mister," one of them said, her voice trembling, not from fear but from cold, "are you the man who bought this land?" Samuel nodded, his brow tightening. "That's right," he replied. "Why?" The girl hesitated, clutching the other's hand. Then, after a deep breath, she looked up at him and whispered words that froze him more than the snow ever could. "Please, just be our daddy for today." For a moment, Samuel couldn't breathe. The world seemed to go quiet, save for the distant creak of trees in the wind. He looked at them, two little girls with cheeks reddened by the cold, eyes full of desperate hope, and something inside him cracked. It had been 5 years since his wife and unborn child had been taken from him in the fever. He had buried his heart with them, locked it away behind a wall of work and money. He had built the largest ranch in the county, owned more land than anyone around, but none of it had filled the emptiness inside him. And now, standing before these twin girls, he felt something long dead stir again. "Where's your mother?" he asked, his voice rougher than he intended. The one who had spoken looked down. "Mama's sick," she murmured. "She can't get out of bed. We were just trying to get some milk from the barn before she wakes up, but—" Her lip quivered as she glanced at the jar hanging from the fence. "We can't reach the cow anymore. The man said it ain't ours." Samuel's chest tightened. He realized the man must have been one of his foremen enforcing the sale. These children had lost their land, their animals, everything that had belonged to their family because of him. He dismounted, snow crunching under his boots as he knelt to their level. "What's your name?" he asked softly. "I'm Ellie," said the one who had spoken first. "And she's Emma. We're twins." They looked no older than 6 or 7. Samuel managed a faint smile. "Ellie and Emma," he repeated, tasting the names like something pure and painful all at once. "Tell you what," he said, nodding toward the cabin. "Let's go see your mama. Maybe I can help." The girls' faces lit up instantly, as if someone had turned the world back on. They took his hands, tiny, cold, trusting, and led him through the snow toward the cabin. The moment he stepped inside, he felt the heavy air of sickness. The room was small, poorly heated, and smelled faintly of medicine and damp wood. A woman lay on a straw mattress in the corner, her face pale, her breathing shallow. When she saw him, her eyes widened in alarm. "We didn't mean to trespass, sir," she whispered weakly. "The girls didn't mean no harm. We'll be out of here soon. Just give me a few more days." Samuel took off his hat, his throat tightening. "Ma'am," he said gently, "I'm not here to throw anyone out. I came to see if you need help." She looked at him, uncertain, before her gaze softened slightly. "Help," she repeated. "Help something this family hasn't seen in a long time." He spent the next few hours mending the fire, bringing in fresh wood, even fixing the broken latch on the door. The girls followed him everywhere, their laughter like bells in a frozen church. They told him stories about their mama teaching them to sing, about their papa, who had died last winter in a mining accident, promising them that angels watched over good girls. As they spoke, Samuel felt his heart thaw bit by bit. When he finally sat down, Ellie crawled into his lap without asking. "You're warm," she said, snuggling into his coat. You smell like horses," Emma giggled. "That's what a daddy should smell like." Samuel felt something sting his eyes, something he hadn't felt in years. He didn't say anything, he couldn't, he just held them. And in that quiet cabin, with the wind howling outside, he realized that being rich had never meant being alive. By evening, He had arranged for one of his men to bring food, medicine, and blankets. When he tried to leave, the twins ran after him, their voices trembling in the cold air. "Please, mister," Ellie cried, grabbing the fence rail. "You promised." He stopped, turning slowly. "Promised?" "To be our daddy," Emma said softly, tears spilling down her cheeks. "Just for today." Samuel looked at them, at their tiny figures silhouetted against the falling snow, and something inside him gave way completely. He went back, kneeling in front of them. "All right," he whispered, his voice thick with emotion. "Just for today." But in his heart, he already knew it wouldn't just be for today. The next morning, he returned not as the rich rancher who bought their land, but as the man who came to rebuild it with them. The sickness was treated, the cabin repaired, and soon the sound of laughter filled the valley again. Samuel never left. He didn't have to. The twins called him Daddy from that day on, and for the first time in his life, Samuel Granger understood what real wealth was. Not the acres of land, nor the gold in the bank, but the small hands that reached for his, the love that thawed the coldest heart, and the home that waited for him at the end of every ride. Moral and motivation for viewers. Sometimes, the richest people are the ones who've lost the most, and the smallest hearts can bring them back to life. Family isn't always by blood. Sometimes it's found by fate. If this story touched your heart, make sure to subscribe for more emotional tales of love, faith, and second chances. Your support keeps stories like this alive.